Wednesday Pawz, our bi-weekly virtual session geared towards students to give you the most up-to-date information on what's happening at Suny Erie. I'm Jason Perri, your North Campus Dean of Students, here filling in for my esteemed colleague, Amy Reuter. We'd like to welcome you to the second live version of the Wednesday Pawz for the spring semester. As our guest today, we are pleased to welcome Interim President Bill Reuter, our Chief Diversity Officer, Tracy Archie, and Director of Career Services, Katie Marshall, who will provide us with a quick update on everything COVID related. As a quick logistical note, if you have any questions, please put them in the chat box and we'll be monitoring that throughout the WebEx today. To kick things off, I'm pleased to welcome our Interim President, Bill Reuter, who has a few updates for you. Over to you, Bill.
Everyone for tuning in to this live edition of the Wednesday Pawz. I'm going to jump right into the topic everyone seems to be asking about, graduation. What are we doing? It's scheduled for May 6th, exactly 11 weeks and 1 day from now. Unfortunately, we have received notice from Suny that we need to plan for a virtual commencement this year, just like last year. This is not just ECC's decision. This is being mandated by Suny for all 64 Suny colleges and universities, including other colleges in the region like Niagara County Community College, Buffalo State, and UB. We have heard from many students and understand your disappointment, but unfortunately, this is not something ECC can control. So similar to last year, our team is working to create a truly meaningful ceremony that will recognize the efforts of our graduates. We will be hosting a watch party again this year. And for those of you that are graduating, pay particular attention to your email for a message from our marketing office in the next 2 weeks with the details of what we are planning to do in early May. Another topic of inquiry is the Suny Erie Foundation. They're working on a few projects that we'll hear more about in the next few months, but most important to our students, scholarship season is currently open. There are many available scholarships for our new and current students. So please, we encourage you to take a look at the scholarship website to see what you may qualify. The deadline for submissions is February 28th. It's on ecc.edu/scholarships. One big other item of note for the college is we are turning 75 this year, meaning we've been a college, a community college for 75 years. We were founded on April 4th, 75 years ago, so we will be planning a celebration to recognize those 75 years. So one of those projects we're going to be embarking on is to include stories about ECC throughout the years, and this is where we'll need your help. Our marketing team will be putting out a call for stories and memories in the next few weeks to build out a database of stories, so be on the lookout for that. Finally, we want to encourage our students to stay engaged with their classes. Reach out to your instructors, our counseling office, our campus deans if you're struggling or you need assistance. Our staff are here to help you succeed. Please contact us if you need help. In closing, please stay well, stay safe, socially distance, and keep testing if you come on campus. After the cold this morning, all we can think of is think spring. That wraps up my updates for this week. Thank you again for tuning in.
Thank you so much, Bill. Now I'd like to welcome our Director of Career Services, Katie Marshall, who's an integral part of Suny Erie's COVID Task Force, and is here to provide the latest updates related to COVID-19. Take it away, Katie.
Thanks, Jason. So I have a few things that I just want to cover today regarding COVID-19 updates. A few of these you've probably heard before, but there are 3 things that you should be keeping in mind if you are coming to campus, whether you're staff, student, or faculty. First, you should have that Campus Clear app on your phone, and you should be using it every day that you come to campus. And you should always be stopping at a checkpoint on campus to show one of our checkpoint. Yep, there it is, Bill. Thank you for holding that up. Assuming that you get the good to go screen, then you would show that to one of our officers at the checkpoint and you're all clear. This helps us with contact tracing, and it helps us to flag anybody who maybe shouldn't be on campus due to a COVID concern. If you don't have a cell phone, you can still stop by a checkpoint and there'll be somebody there to screen you. Secondly, the second thing is stopping by the checkpoint, and the third thing is that you should be testing weekly. So as long as you are coming to campus, you need to be testing every week, and that again goes for staff, student, and faculty. There are a few reasons that you shouldn't be testing. First off, if you've been in close contact with somebody who's COVID positive, or if you are COVID positive, you should not be coming to campus to test. So we have had a few people who have said, oh, you know, I might have been exposed. I'm just going to go and do my test on campus. And that can really create a problem because we're doing pool testing. So we have other people who are testing in your pool. And if you test positive, that means they all need to quarantine for a period of time too while we do reflex testing. So please, if you are concerned that you've been exposed to COVID, then you should go get a test off campus. We've also had some questions about traveling. You know, you need to quarantine when you come back from traveling. Unfortunately, you cannot come to campus and do our pool testing if you're coming back from out of state. If you're coming back and you're in quarantine, you need to test off-site. Any reason you're in quarantine, you should be testing off campus and not as a part of pool testing. We just want to give a shout out to all our volunteers. Thank you for all you're doing. We have volunteers at our checkpoints and at the COVID testing stations, and everybody's doing a fantastic job. And I want to remind everybody to keep your distance, keep 6 feet away, whether you're in class or on campus, wash your hands, wear a mask. And if you have any questions at all, you can contact anybody from the COVID task force, including myself. Our email address is covidscheduling@ecc.edu. So if you get any concerns or questions, whether or not you should be on campus, feel free to reach out to us. That's it. Jason, I'll hand it back to you.
Thank you so much, Katie. And thank you on behalf of the campus community to the entire COVID task force for the work they're doing to keep our campus safe. You really do go above and beyond every day to make sure that we are the safest and most effective campus, 3 campuses that we can be. So thank you. Now it's time for something a little different. Time to play a game of hide and seek with our mascot, Pawz. Everyone loves hide and seek. So the first person to guess Pawz location on campus will win some fabulous Suny Erie swag. Paula, what's our clue for this week?
Well, our dear friend Pawz has been keeping himself pretty busy as we've all been trying to keep our heads above water with COVID. So Pawz sent me a little message yesterday telling me he was hanging out at South Campus and he's getting himself game ready. So if you remember, we might have cut the ribbon on some space last year. That might help you get game ready. So first person who can tell us where Pawz is hanging out at South Campus will win a very fabulous bag of swag, courtesy of the stuff that's in my closet. So take it away, people.
Awesome. Go ahead and enter your guesses for the correct location in the chat. If we don't have a winner this week, we'll have another clue during our next live session. Now it's time for the Suny Erie topic of the week. One office at Suny Erie that is consistently busy creating opportunities for dialogue on campus is the Office of Equity and Diversity. Joining us now is our Chief Diversity Officer, Tracy Archie, who's here to talk a little about what her office does and the importance of an office like hers to the college. Welcome, Tracy.
Good afternoon. Thank you so much, Jason. Thank you so much, everyone, for having me today. I'm very, very excited to be here. And first, I'd just like to start off by saying Happy Black History Month and Happy Lunar New Year, right? We are in a wonderful time right now. Black History Month is the month that has been designated to honor and celebrate the traditions of African Americans all over the world, those that have passed away and those that are still being remarkable and making history here today. So enjoy everything that's being offered for you and everything that's available to you during this time. The Lunar New Year significance is for those individuals who are from the East and Southeast Asian backgrounds. I mean, it's a wonderful, rich tradition where it's their Chinese New Year. It's their opportunity and their time to celebrate togetherness and abundance and a lot of eating and a quarter of the world's population celebrates this new year. So sounds a lot like many of our own traditions, many of you that are listening today. So remember to celebrate those two wonderful traditions this month. I'm really excited to talk to you about equity and diversity because no one ever comes in and asks me what is equity and diversity. They just know that it's there and that it's something that that is a part of a college campus and it's a part of the real world outside of these four walls. But you're going to learn over your lifetime and your time here on this college campus that you have a lot more similarities like your neighbor and your classmate than you realize, more than meets the eye. So I'm going to tell you a little bit about what we do. There's so much to tell you, but I'm going to try to break it down for you in these few minutes. Our Equity and Diversity Office is located on the South Campus. Now, I do have a really neat PowerPoint that I put together. I promise not to bore you. I promise that it will be exciting, okay? Okay, so we are located on the South Campus. We are available and here for all campus locations, not just the South Campus. But what we do is a snapshot of what you're seeing here on your screen. We handle compliance issues, discrimination, and harassment complaints. But ultimately, overall, we are here to create an environment that prioritizes and completes EDI issues, brings them to the table to be dealt with, and to educate the campus. What does educating the campus look like? Well, education are all those wonderful activities, workshops, and seminars that you're constantly being invited to participate in as a student, and your faculty and staff are invited to participate in. The more we know, the more we learn about each other, the better we can become a more inclusive society, a more aware society. So what is equity, diversity, and inclusion? When you think about it, yes.
They're not seeing your PowerPoint on the screen at this point.
Oh
So
my
you
gosh.
may want to just take a look and see, how did you share it?
I did share content. I did share content. Do you see that?
Okay, that's coming up. Yep, now we got it.
Okay. Okay, maybe I'll just do it this way. Okay, so when you think about equity, diversity, and inclusion, you think about it's really a mindset. It's really something that brings us together in a situation. It's how we engage with each other. It's our awareness of ourselves in those moments where we are among different ideas and different perspectives. This speaks especially to those students at a community college. You are at a community college where you are in the classroom with people who don't look like you. They may not be where you're from. They may not believe what you believe. They don't eat what you eat. It's all a part of this global society that you hear so much about. But that is all equity, diversity, and inclusion up together, right? How can you, as a health-related profession, or even those individuals in engineering and technology professions, graduate, go into a society and not work with people who are going to be different from you? So a part of our responsibility as an institution is to make sure that you get those experiences through the education that we provide, through the courses, and through the activities and workshops that we provide for you, okay? Ultimately, at the end of the day, the one thing that everybody wants is equity, right? How many of you have seen this nationwide model of equality versus equity, right? Take a look at these photos right here. In this first image, it's assumed that everyone will benefit from the same supports, right? They're provided the same things to watch this game. But in the second image, you can see individuals are given different supports to make it possible for them to have equal access to the game. This is what is being treated equitably, right? In the third image, you see all three can see the game without any supports or accommodations because the cause of the inequity was addressed. The systemic barrier has been removed. Really, at the end of the day, equity is grounded in the principle of fairness, okay? In higher education, equity refers to ensuring that each student receives what they need to be successful through the intentional design of the college experience. Think about that when you are in your classroom. Think about your neighbor. Do they have what they need? Do you have what you need to be successful in this course or to graduate and move on to the workforce? Another one of the wonderful things that we take care of in the Equity and Diversity Office is something called Title IX. Many of you may have heard it as just a general term, but this is what Title IX is. It's an education amendment that prohibits sex discrimination in educational programs and activities. What that means for us as a college, I have the responsibility, the college has a responsibility to promptly respond to complaints of sexual harassment, sexual violence in a way that limits its effects and prevents its recurrence. We hope this never happens to any of our students. But simply put, the college becomes aware of an incident, and it is my responsibility, the college's responsibility, to make sure that we remedy the situation. You all have a right to have an education without harassment, without violence, and know that our office is there to respond to those. If you have situations on campus and you don't know where to turn, reach out to the Equity and Diversity Office. Reach out to your deans of students. That's what they're there for. Reach out to your college professors. Reach out to the staff. Anyone can be there to respond and provide what you need. So, if you go and visit our website, Equity, Diversity, and Inclusion, you're going to find some wonderful online cultural toolkits. Equity, diversity, and inclusion means everyone. LGBTQIA, immigration, disability, veterans, the interfaith community, Black and African Americans, Asians, Hispanics, and Native American persons. We have cultural toolkits available online. So if you are questioning or wondering, am I saying the right thing? Am I offending my neighbor? Am I offending my instructor? Am I offending anyone? Here's some really easy resources that'll help you understand some terminology, some historically significant dates, holidays. There's leaders and influencers that you can learn about. Visit the website and you'll see all these links for all these different cultures. We celebrate all cultures and Heritage Months at the Equity and Diversity Office and with the college. So keep that in mind. Let's talk about commonality and sameness. Equity, diversity, and inclusion. You're going to hear me say them together this entire time because really not one without the other. We talked about us being common, more common than you realize. That is how we connect. When you think about the differences that you have, that is diversity, and that is how you're going to grow, build, and evolve as a student here at this college. No matter your walks of life, no matter your ethnicity, no matter what you have as part of your background, you grow and build and evolve together. Okay, let me share with you a little bit more about what we have going on. We do host and sponsor a lot of events at the college, but we do them in collaboration with the Student Government Association, and we do it with a lot of committees that are a part of the Equity and Diversity Office. This is just a snapshot that you're seeing on my screen of what we are offering for this upcoming week. February 18th, you have 2 events going on. One during the day, Human Trafficking by Kelly Galloway, and then in the evening, Black and Blue Policing Communities of Color is being offered in the evening from 6 to 8 p.m. Next week, the Suny Erie Library Resource Center presents Black History Month Trivia Night. Now that sounds like fun. Who doesn't want a little bit of trivia in their life, especially during these home COVID quarantining days? Monday, February 22nd, 6 to 7 p.m. There is an opportunity to participate in that. There will be there will be prizes, and it's a live event. You'll have to reach out to the library to get the link. I would also encourage you to visit the homepage of our website, Each week, there's an update of what's being offered for that particular week in regards to activities. The marketing office updates that weekly. You'll be sent staff and student emails so that you will be reminded about the upcoming events. The only way for us to become more aware and more educated on different events around this world is to participate and support one another. We cannot do it by ourselves. So I need you to be mindful, be intentional about visiting the website, reading your emails to find out what's going on so that you can be a part of what we have at this institution to grow. The strength of EDI, I can't say this enough, the strength of EDI is the ability to work together, to understand one another for one common goal, starting with ourselves. The only way to do that is by having contact with others from different backgrounds, different cultures. Let's commit to improving and changing the culture at Suny Erie. My final word to you is a thank you, of course, but most importantly, remember that education is the most powerful weapon which you can use to change the world. That is a quote by Nelson Mandela. This is the website address, www.ecc.edu, for equity, diversity, and inclusion, to find out what we have going on every month and to learn how we can respond to your needs as a student here at this institution. Thank you so much for your time. I hope I didn't talk too fast, but I appreciate you listening. And now I'm open for any questions if you have any. Thank you.
If you do have any questions, feel free to put them in the chat. Thank you so much, Tracy. We really do appreciate all of the time, your time and the work that you do to create an inclusive environment on our campuses.
Thank you.
If we have some questions, we'll come back at the end and offer up an opportunity for Tracy to answer anything that you might have. So now it's time for our quick hits of the week. Piggybacking on what Tracy said, in celebration of Black History Month, the Deans of Students Offices are hosting a live panel discussion this Thursday at 6 p.m. titled Black and Blue, Policing Communities of Color. This timely discussion features a panel of professionals from higher education and the media who will lead us in a discussion on the need for criminal justice reform within communities of color, focused in particular on what we can learn from recent and ongoing tragedies. It's really going to be a pretty stellar presentation. We have people from across the spectrum coming to speak on this, so you're going to get a very significant and nuanced look at what it means to police communities of color. Don't forget that we have tutoring and computer labs available to help students this semester on campus. The campuses are open, so please come and avail yourselves of those. You can find details on these and other upcoming events on the events calendar on the website. And finally, we remind you to check your college email regularly for important updates from the college. Most of the official communication you're going to receive is going to go to your college email, so make a habit of checking that every day. That's how your professors are likely to get in touch with you, and that's how you're going to get information from the college about things that are happening that affect both your academic and personal lives. And now it's time for a little Q&A. Paula, do we have any questions?
We actually do not have any questions today, Jason. I think everybody's sleeping out there because it's really cold outside today. So,
well, either that or we did such a thorough job explaining things that there's no required questions.
And I like that answer too. So there you go. Katie is asking if we've got any COVID-related questions as well. But I don't see anything out there at this point. But as always, if you have questions, you're always welcome to submit them to either the Deans of Students, to any member of our COVID task force, or you can always send them through the marketing@ecc.edu email address, and we will forward them on to the appropriate body.
Absolutely. So thank you once again for tuning in to our live session today. If you have any ideas for future sessions for the Wednesday Pawz, please send those to marketing@ecc.edu for consideration in a future episode. Please make sure to maintain appropriate social distance, wash your hands, wear a mask, and have a great week. Thanks all. Take care.